Hello, everyone, again. Thank you for joining us. I'm happy to give a microphone to Remy, and he will tell the story of success of Weglot. Welcome.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so my name is Remy, and today I'm going to talk about the genesis of Weglot and the early days. Let's see if it works. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, I'm not the person on this picture. Originally, the presentation was going to be Weglot, how to grow a no-code solution in Europe. The Weglot story done by our CMO. But he actually had a baby. And so it will be done by me. So I'm the co-founder and CTO of Weglot, so I do the tech stuff at Weglot, and I'm also responsible for the product. So what is Weglot? Weglot is a service that makes any website multilingual. So you have a website in one language, let's say in English, you connect Weglot, and we will deliver and translate your website in multiple languages, French, Spanish, the languages that you want, without code, obviously. So the integration is super simple. Weglot is connected to your website. It will automatically detect the content on your website, translate it, and then you can manually edit and manage all the translation yourself. So Weglot in numbers. The company was founded in 2015. So this is the number on the last years. Today we are a team of 46 people, and we are doing an annual recurring revenue of 25 millions. We can see the growth better here. So this is the actual revenue curve that I printed from our tool. And today I'm going to focus on this part of the curve. So really the beginning, and when I was alone, and then with Augustin. And I will try to answer the questions that usually when people ask me questions, is usually one of these three questions. How did you find the idea? How did you get from an idea to a revenue? And then how did you raise money? So that's what we are going to cover today. And so, okay, the first story is how did I get the idea? And I said the company was founded in 2015, but we have to go back a bit for this story. We are in 2012, and I'm 24. I'm working as a consultant in a software company. I'm happy, I guess. I'm fine, but I want to build something with a friend. We wanted to build a website. We didn't know what. So we try to find an idea, and we don't give much thought about the idea. And we say, okay, Le Bon Coin is huge, but it's kind of like it's not the best user experience. And let's try to do something better. And we decide on an idea, which we call it Spotters. And basically, it's a site where you can buy and sell everything with other people, but on a Google Map interface. So that was the difference. And we built the site in 9 months. In parallel of our jobs. I was doing it with a childhood friend, and it took us like 9 months for two reasons. First, I didn't know how to code. I did engineering school, and we didn't learn HTML and basics, so I had to learn myself. It was long. And also, we did a huge mistake, which was to be too perfectionist. We wanted the site to be super beautiful, so it took us 9 months. And we launched in July 2013, and there is a lot of people on the site, but it's just our friends, our family, and 2 or 3 days after, there is no one on the site. So we decide that it's fine. We just pay for Google Ads, and there will be traffic. And that's what we do. We pay from our own money, Google Ads, but it still doesn't work. So then we decide that if there is no traffic and if it's not working, it's because we are part-time on it, so we have to quit our job to make it work. It's a bit doubtful reasoning, but it's what we did. And so we quit our job and we joined an accelerator, Microsoft Venture. And we realize all our mistakes here, and we start talking to users. We start doing a lot of manual work, but all of this for 1 year. Eventually, after 1 year, we have several thousand of ads and users, but it's still too low. We still have zero revenue for 1 year, and we decide we have to stop. The competition is too strong. We don't try to sell the company. We just stop working on it to avoid losing time and to free our mind. So here I am. We left with one question. What should I do? I have 1 year left of money because in France you have 2 years of unemployment benefits, and I had zero savings. So I'm hesitating. But finally I say, okay, I have one year left. I should try another idea, and if it doesn't work, I will find a job. So this time I give more thought on the process of how to find an idea. And my first idea was that I should focus on something where I'm strong, not just like a random idea that looks cool. And the things that was strong was code, developing a site, and also something that you like working on, because usually this is where you're strong or where you will get strong eventually. So I knew that I was going to do something around SaaS and something around code. Then I tried another method. At the time, in 2015, it was API was everything. Every week there was a new SaaS and API of something. So I said, I will try one random words after API. And it's what I did. So I was like API of cooking. No, doesn't mean anything. API of families. It doesn't mean anything. And at some point, I said API of translations. And it was not like a haha moment. It was, I say, okay, it's like Google Translate. It doesn't exist. So I didn't give much thought at that time. But I'm still thinking, I still have no idea. And I approached the problem of finding an idea in a different angle. I think about all the pain points that I had when I developed the Spotter site. And I realized that a lot of these pain points were actually already solved by other SaaS, like for search on the site we use Alegria, we use Stripe for payment. But when we tried to translate the site, which we did because we thought the website was going to be worldwide, I struggled. I struggled a lot, and not because of the translation themselves. It was like it was simple sentences to translate, but more on the code itself. I had to change the URLs, everything, and I realized, okay, there is something to do here. I should try to do the initial idea. It's still kind of this today, but I was like, it should be like Alegria or Stripe, but for making a site multilingual. And that's how the idea was born. Okay, so the key learning is try to solve a problem that you personally really had. Work on something that you like. And also, don't worry at this time about market or competition. I see too much people, they have an idea, they look online for market and competition, and they say, okay, it's not going to work. I think it's too early at this time. Okay, so the second story is how we get from this idea to a first paying customer. So One good thing is that I was really stressed by time here. I say, okay, I have 1 year. I should not work on something that will not, where I cannot pay myself. So I wanted to make sure that I was working on something that matters and that had values. So I start coding MVP to see if I could translate the abandoned spotter site. And I do it for 10 days, and after 10 days, it was working. It was super simple, obviously, like no design, nothing, but I was able to see the old website translated, and so it proved that it works. So after I see that it worked, I wanted to know if it was just my site or if it would work for other people. So on 14 September, so it's like 2 weeks after the idea, I have the date because I look in my Facebook to retrieve this for this presentation. And I see that I started mass DM, the direct messaging people on Facebook. And I target people in Facebook group related to startup. So it was like French startuppers, Paris French startup, etc. And I don't post publicly here. I find the users that are launching something and I talk to them privately. And it's super targeted, so like this message that you can see. I don't advertise for something, and usually people, they don't answer, or they answer, no, we don't have German version, why? And I was like, hey, yeah, develop a small snippet, you can copy-paste it in your code and it will translate it. And actually some people answer, they wanted to test, and that's how I was able to get approximately 10 people using this snippet of code by the end of September. And I think I did around 50 to 100 contacts on Facebook. That's also at this time that I met Augustin, who is a CEO, and he is also had a baby, by the way. And we met through a connection on an old an incubator called The Family. And Augustin was more business side. He wanted to find someone with a project. We met at a coffee. He told me about his idea, something like PayFit, like for paying people. And I told him about my idea that I already start. He immediately liked it. And what I liked is that he said, what can I do to help? He didn't try to talk share, or he said, it's your idea, what can I do to help? So I told him, try to get me more install of the JS snippet. And eventually the next day, he is at a co-working, so not here, but at a place called Numa, poking physically people and asking them to install the script. And that's how we got feedback from this user who were doing it. Yeah, so the most important here is that these 10 users, I was talking with them every day. And sometimes late at night, sometimes I did Skype with them. Yeah, back then it was Skype. And they provided an infinite amount of feedback in the beginning. This was super useful. And I was even fixing bugs as we were talking. They were asking for a new feature, and I was doing it on the fly and say, oh, you can refresh the page. No, you have the feature. And it was, yeah, this first month was crazy in feedback. It's super useful. Yeah, at that time, it's important to keep talking to users, and even me, I was only doing 50% of time coding, and I was always talking to users, making sure that they would not remove the snippets. I wanted them to keep it. And we also built a WordPress plugin here. We didn't know anything about WordPress, but some people didn't want to install the JavaScript because they say they wanted a WordPress plugin. So I said no, but after seeing too many no's, I say, okay, maybe let's do a WordPress plugin. So basically, we put the JavaScript, we put it in a WordPress plugin, and people accepted it. So it was good, and it extended the reach by a lot. And yeah, that's how we started actually in the WordPress. This is also the time where we started to have more than 10 users. We see that people were using it. We say, OK, let's try to see if they will pay for it or if it's just a fun tool. So we start sending emails about an end of trial, and we say, let's see. And actually, the 5th November, someone paid. We received an email from Stripe that was one of the best emails after 1 year of struggling. We felt so relieved, to be honest. And we celebrate with a beer on the evening. So the key learning is show your product as soon as possible. Don't do the mistake I did with Podders. The journey really starts when you launch. Make them feel that they are private dev. It's important. Listen to them. Do feature for them at the beginning. You don't have anyone to talk to anyway, so just to talk to them. And then get users at the beginning. You don't need people to pay you first. You want them to use it and make sure that you provide them value. So yeah, that's it for the second story. And the last story is how did we raise money? So I won't go into detail in the first year of Weglot, but basically we get more and more users through WordPress. We optimize our, not SEO, but ranking on the WordPress directory. It got us traffic. And 1 year later, in August 2016, we have 500 paying customers. We are doing 5,000 MRR, and it's still Augustin and I, and we have an intern helping us for support. Augustin is paying himself. I'm not. I'm like 2 months left, and we are a bit short. And we say we should raise money. It seems that it's working, so let's try to raise money. So we contact funds. We have no contact. And I know a lot of people say if you have no contact, you cannot raise money. It's not true. It's harder, but it's not true. So we just went on the website. And we sent a message to them. And the message was simple. We say, hey, we are Weglot. We were founded a few months ago. We are doing 5,000 MRR. Multilingual market is huge, and there is solution, but we think they don't really solve the problem. We are raising money. Do you want to talk? And we were not sure it would work, but actually, they answer. We got a lot of answer. We were super happy, but we realized that it's actually their job later to answer. So they will almost always answer, actually. And they ask a lot of questions. What about the market? How do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your plan to develop? How is the competition, etc. And it takes a lot of time. But you feel like you're doing it, right? And then they invite you to talk more. And so we did a few meetings with them physically. But at the end, we got rejected by them all. And I think it's mostly because our inability to explain what we did back there. It was hard to explain. When we say we are a translation software, they thought content. So, oh, you are a translation agency. No, we are not a translation agency. And then they took us for TMS, like SmartLink or over TMS, and we were, yeah, not really, because we are real-time API, so you don't have to upload files. Yeah, we had trouble to explain it, so investor didn't buy it. But at the same time, we were still happy and confident because now the MRR was 7, then 8K, and we are actually almost profitable. We need 10K to pay ourselves, Augustin and I. So let's focus on this. Let's stop chasing funds. And eventually, we reached 10K in November of MRR. And then we recontacted funds, but we were a lot more cool because we were profitable. And it worked. This time it worked. It was a lot easier with 10K, actually. And we got 2 proposals. and we accepted one, and we raised 450,000 at 1.8 million valuation. Yeah, so the key learnings are raise money as late as possible. You might actually not need it. Let the number do the heavy lifting. It's a super big difference between the two for us. And finally, don't celebrate before it's closed. Several times we thought that it was going to work, but it didn't. Yeah, remember, it's their job to talk, and there is a lot of steps, and maybe they will say no at the end. So yeah, this is it. Thank you, everyone. Any questions? Don't hesitate.
I'll meet you halfway. Thanks a lot for the talk. So I had one question when you said that you sent out an email saying, okay, the free trial has ended. Did you still offer the ability to continue in a free tier with less functionality? And if not, how many dropped off? Because you said, okay, we converted one, but that means the rest moved away, or did they stay in freemium?
Good question. So first, back then, there was the question of pricing. So we had to create a plan. And we created a 15 euros plan that was just all unlimited. We didn't give much thought about it. It was not necessarily a bad idea, but it caused us some problem 1 year later when we had to introduce quota. But anyway, there was one plan, and we targeted the site that had a bit of usage. Like if someone was using it just on one page, we didn't target him. But so we sent out email to them. And yes, there was a lot of drop, a lot of people that didn't answer back there. Also, the emails that let you know about the trial was manual, so we would not put it the right day sometimes. But yeah, it was a bit messy at the beginning.
And
Hello. So I would like to know more about the technology, because at the end I understood that you have a technical profile.
Yes.
But I would like that if you can tell us more about the technology and I don't know how it was built, the product.
You want to know about the technology on the first days or the technology now? Because it's... I can say...
I think that in the first days.
Okay.
And how you developed your idea, because at the
okay.
end
So I can say what I did in 10 days. The MVP. So the idea was just a JavaScript that you copy-paste in your page, as you probably did for Google Analytics or other software. You copy-paste a snippet. I wanted people to just have to do that. And then I did everything so that they just have to do that. And so what I did is an API where you can send words, and the API sends you back words translated. And to do this, when we receive words, we either search in the database if there is a manual translation that the user inputs. If there is no manual translation, we forward it to Google Translate to get a translation, and we save it so that it's reused the next time. So that's the API. And then the JavaScript snippet that you copy-paste on your page will show a flag, a button on the site. And when a visitor clicks, it extracts the words on the page, it sends it to the API, and then the JavaScript replays. That was the initial technology.
maybe anyone else? What is the name of the baby?
Which one?
The newborn.
Gustave, for Eugène.
Our félicitations. Thank you for your speech. And we have, yeah.
I have a small question for your plans in the future. Do you have any kind of features or any use, for example, of AI or stuff like this for the future?
We have a lot of plans in the future, and on AI we do. We have a translation memory feature that is going to happen in Q4, and we also want to use a bit more of AI, but. I'm trying to, as a CPO also, I'm trying to be careful with this AI. I don't want just to put AI in the software because it's cool. I want it to have value. So we are doing a proof of concept this quarter on rephrasing and a tool to help user rephrase sentences in a better way and see if it can provide value. So yes, we will use AI for this.
Well, then, again, thank you for your speech.
Thank you.
It was very interesting. And we have a short, a few minutes, I guess. Yeah, 30 minutes before the next one. Have fun.
Thank you.